Hanggang.
Na-reserve na lang na eh.
Naka-reserve naman ta.
Na-reserve na ta?
Dahil lang.
Ito ka book.
Duha. Ang tawagan sa kalungas sa.
Pero dili sa na mga unya pa mga apit na alas 11 mo, pwede mo pasibat.
Okay.
You know. Kaya kinsa ka na yung isa gani?
Kay Mary.
Mayroon isa.
Jang. Jang. Na. Na, dira. Juice ba, juice? Mm. Sige. Sige. Sabado. Ambutan na nila. Sige, Sabado. You eat or no? So we finish.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Huh, doesn't want to go. Okay. 3, 2, 1. 1. Alright, first test was a success, but all I can do is hope that raccoons don't like watermelons. Anyway, that bar came down super fast, but just how fast was it moving? If the bar is 1 meter long, that means it has a 3.14 meter journey on its way to the watermelon. And counting 10 frames for the second half of its journey, we can figure out that it was moving at about 42 miles an hour on impact.
I bit my finger.
Okay, watermelon might have been a little bit too easy. Let's try something a little bit harder. How about some coconuts?
A head is about as strong as a coconut, but my finger is about as weak as a lemon.
Giant mousetrap versus coconut.
Nothing.
3, 2, 1, go! It took a lot of revisions to get this mousetrap working perfectly because every time I wound it up, something would break. So I would have to fix that, and then I'd find the next weakest link, and so on and so on. A lot of welding later, it works great. The next thing we're going to destroy is this model volcano I made. I used about 50 pounds of clay, and it took me about 3 hours to put all the little decorations on there, and it's going to be gone in 1/10 of a second. Hopefully we get some cool slow motion from this thing getting cut in half. And just to make sure we get some cool footage, I'm going to pour some diethyl ether in the top of the volcano. You can't have a good volcano without fire. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, I'd say that worked. I created this bit for a cameo in Mark Rober's newest video. It's pretty cool. He put a GoPro on a Hot Wheels car and sent it around a pretty cool track. You can check it out. I'll put the link in the description. By now, you've probably realized that this thing is pretty serious. It does not mess around. So I'm sure also a lot of you are wondering what would happen if your arm got stuck in there or something. Wait, well, I'm not going to try it, but I think I'll volunteer this guy to try it out for us. Always wear your safety goggles, kids. 2, 1. Well, you know what? This guy doesn't even... Maybe he'd do better if he had a hard hat on. I think he's okay. The helmet looks like it's a lot more snug. I haven't seen the high speed yet, but something tells me this guy didn't make it either. 2, 1. Ha! And my girlfriend calls me a hoarder. She says, "What do you need a hard hat for? You'll never use a hard hat." But look at this. Oh yeah. That was pretty sweet with this styrofoam head. I couldn't believe how much it compressed down onto that. I mean, I can't, I think it's time. Hey guys, Backyard Scientist here, and this is gallium. It's a liquid metal just like mercury, except it won't kill you and it's not poisonous. Unless you're a robot. See, gallium is poisonous to metals, especially aluminum. This is the gallium metal, and I guess it's not exactly poisonous to aluminum, but what it does is it's more of like a cancer. It infiltrates into the aluminum structure and dissolves it and really weakens it. So you can take a normally strong aluminum CO2 cylinder like this and turn it into a disaster with just a couple drops of gallium. Just really destroys all of the metals. Also, I should mention this video is sponsored by KiwiCo. You'll hear more about this later. Somewhere between this, you don't know nothing about and this. So Hey guys, Backyard Scientist here. Last week when I made the lava volcano in my garage, I had molten aluminum spill onto the concrete floor. Whoa! And that could be very dangerous because I've always heard that when concrete gets really hot, it can explode from the heat. And that would be bad because aluminum could get flung everywhere inside the garage. This is a phenomenon known as spalling. More on that later, but it can also happen to rocks around a campfire. They can get so hot from the fire, they can just explode, or at least that's what I've heard. So today, we're going to be testing how dangerous are rocks exploding in a campfire, and is molten aluminum enough to make concrete explode and fling molten aluminum everywhere. So first, let's get started mixing up some concrete. Alright, so we've been working on making our own concrete mixes to see if they explode or what. So the first one we did was filled with Orbeez. We shredded up a bunch of Orbeez like this and mixed them into the concrete. And that didn't end up working too well. Well, I mean, it worked, but it split the concrete, I guess, because the Orbeez started expanding and broke apart the concrete. But they are in there, and we fixed it up a little bit, so hopefully we can still try this one. We also made 2 more special mixes of concrete. One filled with rebar, which was really just chopped up wire, and another one filled with a ton of tiny little stainless steel beads used for sandblasting. So the theory here is that steel expands when it gets heated. So the steel will expand inside of the concrete when it gets hot, putting a lot of stress on the inside of the concrete, causing it to explode. So while these are drying, let's test out rocks in a campfire. I heard that they can explode like a grenade, but is that really the case? Let's put it to the test. I learned in Boy Scouts, don't make campfire rings out of the wrong type of rocks, because you can just be sitting there enjoying a fire and then all of a sudden it sounds like freaking Vietnam going off at the okay, it's not that dramatic, but sometimes the rocks do crack and explode. So we got a bunch of different kinds of rocks here that we're going to try out. We've got like granite, jade, some slates, we have 2 different types of river rocks, this is some little cement brick wall I made, and we're just going to light it on fire and see which kind of rocks explode the best. After about 8 minutes of the rocks cooking in the fire, we got our first crack rock. I mean, rock crack. But that was only one rock, and there's still a lot of rocks on that fire. So we kept that fire going for 15 more minutes, because let me tell you, there's nothing like sitting around a hot, smoky campfire in the middle of the day in Florida. Whoa, that was a big one. Camera, I see. Well, we had a couple big pops with the dry rocks, but nothing that I would